והוגד לך ושמעת ודרשת היטב, והנה אמת נכון הדבר נעשתה התועבה הזאת בישראל. והוגד לך, and it was told to you, ושמעת, and you heard, ודרשת היטב, and then you inquired to depth, you inquired well, והנה אמת, and then behold, you found the truth, נכון הדבר. The thing itself is true, נעשתה התועבה הזאת בישראל. This horrible abomination was done in Israel. There's another verse also follows along the same lines, but the point here is an interesting form of Mussar. Not only is this a halachic imperative, you shall go and you shall investigate. Not only is it, you can't just take something, look, I heard, and behold, I found the truth. Somebody said something bad about someone, I know it to be true. I did no investigation, I did nothing. This is not the way of the Torah. Rather, the Torah is telling us halachic imperative. V'hugad lecha, and you were told. V'shama'ata, and you listened. V'darashta hitev, you better make sure that you've investigated well. Otherwise, don't say hine emet. Behold, it is the truth. In the commentary to Tehillim, Rav Saadia Gaon, one of the greatest thinkers in Jewish history and one of the most fundamental people for any Sephardic scholar to understand, says something fascinating. He says, what does it mean when we say Peti ya'amin l'chol davar? A foolish person believes in anything. He says, don't misread this as a foolish person can come to believe in everything, but rather the definition of a fool is the person who believes everything. The person who believes everything he hears, everything he sees, everything he's told, is the very definition of a fool. The very thing we should be looking to not be is that. But how often do we find it to be true? How often are we told of all kinds of different things, whether it's Lashon Hara, whether it's Hotza'at Shemra, whether it's about traditions that we may not have ever seen a proof for, but somebody comes along and says, but if you don't do it this way, you're doing it wrong. Any wise rabbi, any wise chacham should come to his student and he should say as follows. Kach v'kach halacha. This and that is the halacha. And when the student says, okay, he should say, stop. Now go and look it up. Hakarta v'darashta hitev. Only after you've looked into it to the greatest of depth, hine emet nachon hadavar. That's when the true thing is found. The Rambam continues this line of thought. He says that just doing things out of rote in the Moreh Nevuchim, doing things out of rote is, especially when it's something of religious value, especially when it's a mitzvah. He said this is likened to the person who's going and digging holes. And why is he digging holes? Because he's going to plant something? Because he needs the dirt? No, he's digging holes and leaving the dirt next to it. And then he goes on and he digs yet another hole. The Rambam says this way of doing the mitzvot is almost meaningless. Of course, there's the famous sugya, to do a mitzvah shelo lishma, or to do a avera lishma, Masechet Nazir, that the halacha in the end of the Gemara is halacha shelo lishma, shemitoch shelo lishma yavo lishma. That even if you don't do the mitzvah for the right reason, as long as you do it, we hope that eventually you'll do it for the right reason. But the Rambam says on the very essential level, to do something for no reason, to do something just because you heard you should, without giving it any investigation, without looking into it, without understanding its meaning, without having a personal meaning, what function does that mitzvah serve? There's a famous story, though there's no actual record of it, but there's a famous story that Avraham ben Rambam, the son of the Rambam Avraham, went and told his congregation after his father passed away. He became the head rabbi of Fustat and of all of Egypt at the age of 17. He was already the Chacham as well as the doctor of the Sultan's doctor. He came and he told his congregation, my father said that anybody who does something for no reason or doesn't know the reason he's doing it, it's better that he didn't do it at all. immediately people started coming to him and telling him, did you know that so-and-so stopped doing this or that mitzvah? He immediately went to him and he said, Rabbi, why are you no longer doing this mitzvah? He said, because I heard you say that if you don't know the ta'amim, you don't know the purpose of the mitzvah, then it's better if you didn't do it. He said, Has v'shalom, Rahmana litzlan. What I mean to say is, if you don't know the reason for the mitzvah, it's not worth doing the mitzvah. Therefore, you must go out and research the reason. You must find the meaning in it. You are not exempt because you are a fool. You are a fool because you've exempted yourself. For this reason, Avraham ben Rambam follows on and he says something amazing. He says, what is the meaning of the Mishnah which states, Lo am haaretz chasid, that an unlearned person could never be a pious lifnim mishurat hadin, somebody who does more than the halacha requires of him. He said you can't possibly be that person because lo bor yorech het, because a boorish person, a fool, cannot be fearful of God. The fact that you don't know the halacha doesn't mean you should go out and you should say, I don't know the halacha, therefore I should be mahmir, I should be stringent. Rather, the Gemara answers us to that statement. It says, Kocha de'etera adifa. It is better to be lenient. There is some strength, there's some grandeur in leniency because it means that you went out, you learned, you understood, and you put forth. But to just be stringent means everyone can be a rabbi. The statement was once said, everything is asur until proven otherwise, is the exact opposite of the Sephardic approach. The Sephardic approach says everything is permissible until the Torah tells us otherwise. The Rambam, the son of the Rambam, went back to this community and he told them, at least according to this story, according to this fable, he told them, forget everything I told you. The mitzvot are worth doing. Of course they're worth doing. But if you don't know for one moment why you're doing it, immediately go out and find out why it is that you're doing it. This all comes back to our original statement. What does it mean to know something, to not be the fool as defined by David HaMelech, as defined by King David and Sefer Tehillim, is hugad lecha, when you hear something, whatever it is, whether it's a rumor, whether it's halacha, whether it's some form of Mussar, whatever it is, shama'ata, and you heard it, darashta hitev, you should investigate